Hi everyone, this is the second video of the TAW guide series brought to you by Isha. Say that I've left the timestamps for everything that is being covered throughout the video in the description below. So if you want to fast forward, you'll find all the details in the description. Okay, cool. So with that, we're going to move into the main topic of today's video, which is how to get started with the book. So in the last video, we talked about what exactly is the artist way. We mentioned that the artist way is this amazing book that deals with helping artists unblock their creativity. To just summarize, the basic premise of the artist way is that all of us, people who recognize themselves as artists and people who don't, all of us collectively are inherently, that means naturally, creative beings. But as we move from our childhood to adulthood, we acquire certain blocks and which keep us from our natural creative urges. So what this book does is over 12 weeks, it tackles very specific blocks throughout these 12 weeks. Okay, so now getting down to it. How do you do this book? Well, Julia mentions there's really no right way to do this book. Every artist is individual to his or her own, and so is the same for their creative recovery, right? So you can use this book in whatever way it fits you, and she urges you to use it creatively. That being said, there are a couple of pointers that she gives to artists who go on these journeys, go on the journey of this book to keep in mind, okay? So first, we're just going to talk about the chapters or the week breakdown. Now, what I'm going to do is basically tell you what the structure of the book is. So the structure of the book is there is 12 chapters, 12 main chapters, and each chapter deals with a particular block. And if you notice, as you go through this book, each chapter is named week 1 through week 12 because it tackles each block across the week, right? Now, each of those chapters will have 3 common elements. One is the tasks, second is exercises, and third is check-in, sorry. So essentially what this means is throughout one chapter, right, there will be a common theme or themes that she will discuss. And then she will have exercises. Now, exercises are just for quick speed writing, practice. It's not really required that you invest a lot of time in it. It's just used to reinforce some of the themes that she is discussing. So those are the exercises. Second is the tasks. Now, these tasks are very important because she wants you to do them across the week. Now, there are a lot of tasks sometimes, and there are few tasks sometimes, depending on what the week tackles, okay? Now, how do you really approach these tasks? All right, so here is where there's something interesting. She doesn't really say that we have to do all the tasks. We can, and the more tasks we do, the more we sort of reinforce the kind of instruction or the kind of things that she's trying to communicate to us throughout the book or the book in the week, right? But what she also suggests is that if we want, we can actually cherry pick the tasks according to our convenience. Now, a simple rule that she asks us to do to cherry pick these tasks that we want to do is one, pick a couple of tasks that you're really excited to do, okay? So as you're going through the book, you're going to be like, oh, I really like doing this, okay? So you can pick some of them, and also to pick an equal number of tasks that you're resisting, okay? That you're like, I don't want to because, okay? If you see a task and your first reaction is, I don't want to because, whatever reason, doesn't matter, pick those tasks. Because she says that sometimes we resist the tasks that we most need. Okay, so this is a small, simple thing that she mentions with regards to picking tasks for your week. Thirdly is a check-in. Okay, so a check-in is a beautiful thing. It is actually more of an introspective tool. She makes us do this at the end of 1 week, okay? And she asks us to sort of reflect back on what we went through in the past week and what we learned, etc. Now, this is not to be presented elsewhere, but just a mere reflection. Okay, this is how much I've covered over the week. This is what all has happened. Wow. Sometimes when I do the check-ins, I'm just like, whoa, that all of these things happen. I didn't even realize, because sometimes you don't really realize when you're going through the journey that, it's actually like things are moving, things are shifting, you are growing as a person, right? So this is the basic like book breakdown. And before the chapters and after the chapters, there's a lot of content that you are free to look through at your own leisure, but we're just going to focus on the core of the book, okay? Second is we're going to focus on the time breakdown. How does she suggest that we approach the book for in terms of time? She says that we should, let's say, consider a week, okay, as Sunday to Sunday. Each chapter has a Sunday to Sunday timetable wherein, and I don't mean timetable to make it sound like it's school, but just to give you a little bit of a structure, okay? So what she suggests is that you take the chapter and you read the chapter on a Sunday, and then you speed right through the exercises. Remember what we said, exercises is just a quick little practice. That's it. It's not too much to pour over, right? Now, and exercises are meant for you to do them quickly because it's trying to get you to be very true to yourself. Because when we think too much, sometimes we might answer things that are not really legitimately us. So we might say things or write things down that we think is the right thing, but might not be reflective of what we really feel, right? So it's actually meant to be done really quickly. So once that is done, you have that chapter, you read the chapter on a Sunday, you speed right through the exercises, you see what all tasks are there, you pick the tasks if you want, or you can do all of them across the week. And then on a Saturday, you do the check-in. So that's how she has sort of like divided that book according to time. Now, when I talk about time commitments, I understand that many of you will have exams, many of you will have recording sessions, many of you will have a lot of commitments here and there. So she sort of breaks down that in a week, you might have to invest around 7 to 10 hours. That is around an hour a day. And it is not a big time commitment. Trust me, you won't even notice the time going, because the kind of tasks, the kind of things as you go through your creative recovery, you really have to understand that it really takes priority of all things, right? And it's not like a conscious decision too. Sometimes some of the weeks you're so excited to do them that you don't even realize. So I wouldn't worry too much about the time commitment. You can always, like I said in the beginning, use the book creatively to fit your creative recovery, but please do not use the time commitment thing that I said right now as a reason to forfeit the journey. I really, I see this a lot where sometimes when I'm talking to people about the artist voyage journey, the fact that it is 3 months, or the fact that it is, that in a day you might have to put in this many hours, sort of acts as a deterrent. And I really humbly request you not to take that as a deterrent at all, because when you weigh that 1 hour against what you're getting in return, which is creative recovery, that price is so low. Your creative growth and rebirth is a priceless thing, and I humbly request you to really, really, really don't even consider that, or try to fit it in within that within your life and how it is working right now. Okay, so this is the basic chapter breakdown of how things are. Now, another thing is, what are some of the things that you can expect as you walk through this book? All right. So one is, it's going to be like a spiral pathway. And what she means by this is very simple. She gives a little analogy by saying that when you're going through this book, you're going to feel like sometimes you're circling across the same issue again and again. And I've seen this in my journey as well, where I feel really shamed because I'm like, I keep going through the same patterns. Do I never learn? Am I never growing? Am I never going to progress? But what she gently reminds us to see it as is a spiral pathway, which is we're taking that route, we're taking that spiral staircase all the way up. Yes, we do circle around the same issue, but we need to be mindful that the second time we come across it, it's going to be a different version of us that's going to come across it. We're going to know that pattern a little more and a little more, and to have a little more patience with ourselves and to understand that we're doing the best that we can and to arrive at it compassionately. So yes, there might be portions in the journey where you feel like you're coming across the same things over and over again. That's okay. Just be patient with yourself. Just show yourself a lot of love and understand that yes, this is expected. I will go through this as many times as I need to work through it. It'll happen and it's okay. I'm just going to be patient with myself. Okay. So that's a spiral pathway. Next that you will probably experience is the growth phase. Okay, this she compares that to that of a pregnancy or giving birth. She says that as you birth your inner, as you come back into who you are, your creative identity in all its glory, it's that slow unpacking of your truth is going to look sort of in a, even though all of us have very specific or individual creative recovery paths and very specific issues that are very different for all of us, there are some common denominators that she sort of breaks down. She says that in the beginning of the week or in the beginning of the journey, it might be filled with happiness and elation. And I've spotted this in myself as well. When I first went through the first few weeks, I was happy. I was like, this is the best. Like my inner child was just let loose. It was happy. And then you sort of hit anger, and then you hit grief, and then you hit all sorts. And then it becomes a lot of emotions. And then towards the end, she really points out this very decisive point in your journey, which she calls the creative U-turn, wherein you will feel, I would say around week, towards the later portion, towards the end of the book, you will feel this urge to just ditch the book and fly back into what you previously knew was your life, all that familiarity. You're going to feel this urge to go back. And she really asks you to stop, breathe, and recommit to going back into your truth. And when you recommit to that journey and resist the urge to go back to what you once knew, you're going to come into fully your new artistic identity. And it's going to be marked by autonomy. It's going to be marked by heightened creativity. Trust me, I have seen this because I've gone through this 2 times, and I've seen this in the people that I've helped guide through this journey as well. The people who start off this journey, they are not the same as when they come out. It's just how it is. That's how magical this book is. So that creative U-turn happens, and then you have the rest of the book as well, right? And then you come out the other end like a brand new person. I remember when I was done with my first cycle. It was June 31st. And the reason, 30 days of September, April, June, and November. 30 June. So when I came out of the first cycle, I genuinely wanted to celebrate it as my birthday because of the fact that I felt like I was a completely different person. I felt like I was really looking forward to or everything that I wanted to create. My inner child was being supported. It was good. It wasn't a perfect thing, for sure. My journey was not perfect, but at the end of it, I really did feel like I was being given a fresh start. And I think a lot of us are really looking for that, a fresh start, a new perspective, a new way of living, a new us is something that the book really helps us find. But it's not really a new us, but it's the true us, I would say. Okay. So that is the growth phase. And then you will also notice that there'll be a little bit of a withdrawal. And when I say withdrawal, I mean, you might say it as detachment or non-attachment, but it's more of a withdrawal into ourselves. Okay. And what this essentially means is that as we go through life, we sort of I feel like we're most pristine in our childhood. And then we sort of move into becoming something that we think will be what others would like, or we just end up becoming something because of situations and circumstances that occur. So we sort of step out. If we have, like, our truth is like a circle, we sort of step out of that circle and we step out of our truth to become what we perceive is what is good by others. And then we sort of become more and more, and we step away and away from that circle of truth, and we overextend ourselves. The book helps us find all these pieces that we scattered all around and bring us back into that circle of truth, who we actually are, right? And it helps us stand there. That's that withdrawal. You're withdrawing into yourself, right? And then you will also notice this really important thing, which is the death of the nice guy. I know this, and I say this because personally I've gone through this. This nice guy image, this, everybody loves you, I want to be loved by everybody image is a personal thing. It's just me. But the book also recognizes it as a consequence, or as a sort of side effect of you going through your creative recovery, which is the death of the nice self. And I think all of us, at the core of who we are, we really understand when we are being true and when we're not, even if we don't consciously recognize it. So this also is one of the side effects of going through the book. But I might, I don't know if I've painted it as some doomsday thing. I really hope I haven't. But what I really, really want to encourage you to see it as is that when I first started the book, I was really desperate. I needed something to change. I needed my patterns, the way I was showing up in my personal relationships, the way I was showing up in life, the way I was showing up as a creative artist, everything. I wanted something to change. And this book was the answer. I did not care if anything else happened. I just needed an answer, and I clinged on to this. I don't know what the proper word for that is, but I took this book and I ran with it. I went through it, and even though in the beginning when I first read all these growth phases and the anger, and it sounded like an emotional, tumultuous journey. And I felt this like, oh, am I sure that I want to sign up for this? The biggest need was yes, because I need something to change. And if this, and parts of me just recognized that this is probably going to be the solution I was looking for all along. So don't take anything I say as a doomsday thing, but as a celebration that you have finally arrived at a book that will absolutely hold your hand 100% as you walk back into your circle of truth. Okay, so this is how to get started with the book. What is the basic structure of the book, the time commitments, and what can you expect? I'll see you guys in the third video of the series, which deals with what is morning pages, artist state, and some other basic principles. Okay. Also, very, very important, at the end of the basic principles, actually, you will see there's a creativity contract. Go check it out and see what you think about it.